afternoon.
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. We're just wrapping up.
Good.
For those of you that don't know me, my name is Matt Arnold. I'm your Dixon Sales Territory Manager. Jim Rowley would handle the sanitary side. I handle the other side, which is this, if you're not familiar with, this big book. Nice big catalog. You're supposed to know everything in here. Maybe. Right?
That sits on the front seat of your car.
Oh, yeah?
You always have that in your car. That's like an excellent reference.
Oh, hold your laptop nice.
Yeah, no, it's nice for that, right? Paperweight.
Dog can see out.
Yeah, camera took one.
You guys do such a great job with our sanitary line. We were talking at the AD Summit about how we can carry that over. What did you say? Carry that over. You have the best discount that we offer. Help carry that sanitary mindset over to the Dixon line because you have access to everything that's in that catalog and the best multiplier, and you already have these customers, the relationships formed, so why not show some other products that you are probably stepping over, opportunities out there, and kind of go from there. So what you see in front of you, what we're going to be talking about today is Cam and Groove, multiple options that we're going to talk about, and different handles and configurations. That brochure in front of you is a nice handy guide. It'll go over different specifications, pressures, sizes, materials, configurations, and everything like that. So it's nice to have. We have a bunch of them that I'm going to leave for you today, some extras. So just kind of starting off, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Cam and Groove or not. I'm sure some of you have seen this out in the field, and I know you have offered a few of them in the past. So Cam and Groove gets its name from, we call this a cam, or the cam arms, right? And so the adapter side, what's that right there?
That's the groove.
Groove. There you go, winner. You get a bag of chips. So Cam and Groove, also called cam lock. Sometimes you hear cam lock out in the field. Really used in any market because it's so popular, because it's so easy to connect and disconnect, whether it be with the locking arms or the locking pins. You don't need a tool, and there's no tools required to disconnect or connect it. So it's really taken off and been around for quite some time. The only things you don't want to use it for, can you think of some applications where you might not want to use Cam and Groove?
Sanitary.
Well, depending upon the process. But we don't recommend it for steam and for compressed air. Both are very volatile, and we have other products that we recommend for that. Because, say, if a cam arm failed, this pops open, you have steam going through here. If you have compressed air, that's coming at you really hard. So not for steam and not for compressed air, although you will see it out there used for both of those. Very dangerous. Want to recommend something else for that. So make sure you don't do that. If you turn to the back cover, there's just some. This is really highlighting, the markets that Dixon is in, but really anything there is also applicable to Cam and Groove. So Cam and Groove is in any of those markets, whether it be food and beverage in certain portions, you'll see some 1-inch or 2-inch Cam and Groove, depending upon where in the process line that is. You'll also see it in construction, chemicals, paint plants, all different types of manufacturing facilities, wastewater treatment plants. I mean, the list goes on and on. It really spans a bunch of different markets. So it's, you guys have a customer that's either using it now, or could use it, or has used it. And if they're not getting it from you, they're getting it from somebody else, right? So you might as well push that line a little bit.
Our customers don't realize it's no tools required, because they use hammers and pry bars.
They like tools.
Seriously,
That's the
they
problem.
Yeah, no, tools are
They'll
nice.
hammer them shut, and they take a pry bar to pop them all.
Yeah. And some of them, are a little easier than others, and we'll kind of
Well, yeah, Vic, you've seen.
go into that. You see a lot of different things. And we're gonna go through some pictures of the different configurations and some things that people do that are not right. But sizes, we have 1/2 inch to 8 inch in the basic 8 offering. So we're going to go over what kind of types that covers, but that's pretty much aluminum, brass, stainless steel, ductile iron. So that's 1/2 inch to 8 inch in different styles as well. And then for the polypropylene, 3/4 inch to 4 inch. So that'd be for your ag industry, stuff like that. It's comparable to banjo. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I had a guy a couple weeks ago wanted 10 inch.
Yeah. Where'd you wind up getting that?
I sold him 8 inch.
Oh, there you go.
Poor producers.
There you
One.
go. I got the sale. That's the right answer. See?
And let me tell you the rest of the story. We was going to buy them from Tipco too. And I said, I can sell it to you, Sue.
Yeah.
And I got to order
Yeah, how
it.
about 8 inch?
Are banjo and your fittings interchangeable then?
No, some are.
Okay.
Yeah, the specs on the polypropylene are a little different than the specs on the other ones. There might be some slight variation there where it's a little tough. I would say for most of them, possibly, but we can't say for sure throughout. And that's another thing that we say across the line anyway. So this is a type C. We're going to go over the different types, but just really quickly, kind of piggybacking off of that. So when you assemble this, this is by hose barb. So this would be attached, you put a hose there, you either put bands around it, clamp them down, or you do a sleeve or a ferrule. And so those crimp specs, we always recommend using, if you're using our cam and groove, our cam lock, coupler or adapter, we always say use our sleeve or ferrule because of the certain specifications to make sure that's the proper, it's properly sealed, properly adhered to that. So I mean, we don't recommend that, but some might interchange. Turn to page 6 in your brochure. And so on page 6, you'll see at the top of the page the ordering system. So you guys are probably familiar with a lot of part numbers that we have. Some of them make 0 sense and are still really tough to kind of navigate. But Cam and Groove is one of them that actually is pretty clear and does make sense. So you can see a 200-A-AL. That 200 would be the size, so it'd be a 2 inch. That A would be the style. So if you turn to the next page, you'll see type A, that's the female NPT by male adapter. And then the AL stands for the material, so that's aluminum. So we have the aluminum, stainless steel, brass, ductile iron, and then obviously on the side we have that polypropylene. So that's how you would kind of see what goes with what there for the ordering system. In the middle of the page, you see the different sizes. The 1/2 inch and goes to the 8, and you'll see the different pressure ratings. It varies depending upon the size. So that's something you can kind of look over and take into account when asking the questions to your customer. I know you guys use stamped already. We're using stamped?
Yeah.
Sure.
Size,
So-
temperature.
Should be.
Yeah, you're using stamped?
Application, media.
Yeah, so stamped, if you're familiar, I'm not sure if you are, but that's something that we go by. Questions, remember questions ask your customer. So like, hey, I need a 2 inch cam lock, or hey, I need this fitting or that fitting. You ask, what's the size, temperature, application, media, so what's running through it, which is important for chemical compatibility for things like gaskets and material of the coupler. And then pressure, and then ends, like what kind of ends. Here it would be Cam and Groove, but it could be different ends. And we put the D in there for Dixon, so think Dixon on the delivery. Next day,
That's dumb.
that D is silent.
Listen, otherwise it would be Stampy.
Yeah, come on.
Stampy.
You gotta round it off there. A nice D at the end. Make your way to page 7.
I gotta share this.
Yeah, go ahead.
I went to the grocery store the other day. I go up to the meat counter, and the young man, nice guy, he's got his name tag on him. He's got like an apron.
What was his name?
Mothy.
Mothy?
All
That
I
was
could
the
see
joke,
was
though.
Mothy. And I was gonna, call him by, hey, that's an unusual name. Then he moved a little
Seriously?
bit, and I saw an I, and then I realized, there was a T-I before Mothy. So his name is Timothy.
Slightly normal.
Right.
I don't know who would go by that name.
So,
When he's seconds away.
I know. I'm being a real ass.
Hey, so your friends call you mom?
And then he just turns. Sometimes you have to think it through a little bit
You
before
know,
you
the
hit
Vic
off.
said, my friends call me Tim.
Yeah, for sure. Page 7. Not as exciting as that story, but maybe equal.
How do I get page 8?
I don't know, you're jumping ahead. So cam and groove configurations. These are all the different types. These are industry standards from type A down to the dust plug. So type A would be that female MPT by male adapter. So when you're asking questions, you want to know what are you connecting to? Are you connecting to a hose? Because then it would be the type C by hose barb for the coupler side. Are you threading it? Is it a male MPT, female MPT? We also have welded ends. So if they wanted to weld it in, we have that available as well. So just these are the different types, industry standard. Ask those questions, kind of go from there, right? Our 3, if you go back to page 4 and 5, we will skip the Easy Link and Vent Lock for now, but we'll go down to Dixon Cam and Groove. So big offering of cam and groove, 1/2 inch to 8 inch, all those different materials that we talked about. But what differentiates some of these different couplers are the cam arms. So if you look here, all these cam arms are different, right? The first one being the one at the bottom, we call our Dixon Cam and Groove. There are no pins that come on this, so you have to lock it yourself with either Velcro or putting pins through it. Pass that around. That's our most basic offering, domestic-wise. The second upgrade, you can see the locking right there, the locking pin. This is our boss lock. So the actual pin comes on it already. All you have to do is lock it down, flip it over, and then find the hole, go through there. So that's the upgraded version of that. It's nice because you have the ability to just have the pin there, so you can take it off, you don't lose it. And that's one of the most common things, losing pins, losing Velcro, even losing cam arms. So that's the level up. And then
You want to see it?
the even more expensive level up, and why these get a little bit more expensive is because of the machine process and the cam arm itself. So you'll see when we pass this around, it's called the Easy Boss Lock. And all you have to do is pull down, push. Pull down on here, pull it up, push. It's self-locking. You don't have to worry about putting that pin through. So maybe if you have gloves on, or we know how it can be, out there in the field. You don't have all that dexterity. Maybe just kind of push it like so. That's called the Easy Boss Lock. So different cam arms, depending upon the price range and possibly the application. I do like those Easy Boss Locks a lot.
They have something.
Yeah, it's slightly different. It's
Yeah,
like
it's a little different. They didn't really like that. I don't know why, but
it just
it makes sense to me.
Yeah, they own the patent to that design, and that's our
Right.
design. It's the same. It's the self-locking handle.
Right.
It's just theirs you pull down, ours you do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, when you run into somebody like that, you can only overcome it so much until they're like, no, we really have our heart set on this.
I get whatever you
Yeah.
ask me to do.
But if somebody else is just using a regular cam and groove, and maybe they're having problems with if it's like pulsating, and then the handles would
You
kind
mean
of
these
walk
locking
open like
ones
this.
you can't use for steam?
No.
They kind of
It's all
walk
because of the
open.
gasket temperature.
Self-locking
that.
would be the way to
It's
go.
all due to the gasket.
Pressure, they
Still, I mean, you would lock it and steam comes flying out.
So the basic 8, like we talked about, you have the adapter side and the coupler side. The adapter's part A, part F, part E, and the dust plug. And then the coupler side, part D, part B, part C, and then the dust cap. So dust cap, dust plug would be used for covering when it's not in use, covering the end. So a dust cap, this happens to be the Easy Link version, which we'll discuss. Dust cap would go over an adapter to keep that adapter clean. A dust plug would go into a coupler to keep that coupler clean. Can you guess from what? Maybe dust and some other contaminants that might get in there.
There.
Yes.
That must have been for lunch then.
Sure. You were getting a brownie.
What was that?
That's easy, right?
No.
Oh,
I
come on,
remember
making it look difficult.
Who has the sample now? Matt, do you have the sample?
But these are built for
Yeah,
right
the
hand.
sample.
Yeah, I got right there.
So pressure is just a
Do you
kind
have a
of
left-handed mom?
touch. I'm sorry. You have to change your thumbs up a little bit there. So pressures again different, varies in sizes. So just make sure you check when you're asking stamp to make sure you're kind of lining it up with what the pressure is here. So if it's a really high pressure, you're probably not going to want to use cam and groove. If it's steam, you're probably going to not want to use cam and groove. What about compressed air?
Probably not gonna use cam
Another important thing, besides the cam arms and the different variations that we have, obviously if somebody breaks cam arms, you can buy new ones, you can buy different pins, that's in the accessory section, towards the back here.
We just saw them.
You
Page
want to sell a whole
61.
fitting, or you want to sell a?
61 starts that,
Yeah.
but just sell them new fittings, yeah, that's what we go with.
Just rip that
But
piece
so
off.
besides the arms breaking and bending and being replaced, which is one of those replaceable items, the other one would be the gasket. So gasket's very important in cam and groove. If you look in on the coupler side, it's always on the female side. So the adapter would look something like that with the groove, and then the gasket would be in the coupler or the female side. And so when you push it in here, the gasket actually compresses. We'll pass that around, and that's what creates that seal. So, it would still push together without the gasket, but you're going to have leak paths. And that's something that compresses, falls out.
What's the blue line for? Is there different types of gaskets still?
Yep, yeah, so that's something that we'll go over with the chemical compatibility. That'd be
I'm sorry I got ahead of this.
No, good. Well done. Yeah, so when you're asking about compatibility, when you're asking about media and the stamped acronym, what's running through it? If you're running, water through it, you're probably okay with a Buena gasket. If you're running an acid through it,
The only reason I say anything is I never asked anything about the gasket.
you need to ask. Yeah.
Never asked.
And they're cheap, those are.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's why we have
Not the
brass,
whole
that's why we have
We sell
stainless
gasket
steel.
like kits.
Because if you're running acid through
Usually a
it,
bag of 10.
Yeah, those are
something
bad.
like
A
that.
bag
Yeah.
of 10.
Yeah, they're real cheap.
Well, those are.
Yeah, do
Yeah.
these come in bags? Just buy a bag of 5?
Yeah, there's quantities.
That's a-
But the Buena ones are cheap, and and that is the standard that comes with
Right.
the fitting. But that's why you have to ask those questions. What is this? What are you running through it? Because some things are not. Some things will eat that right up, and then you're going to want to get something like a Viton, something like that. So there's different gaskets, whether it be a food grade or what have you. Some of them are encapsulated. We call them envelope style gaskets. So make sure you're asking those questions, because that's something that you can just send out there. The gasket gets eaten away right away, and then you have that leak happening instantly.
Jeremy, one thing with Dixon, they're out of Chestertown, Maryland. They have just about everything in stock, so we'll get it here in one day.
Yeah.
So you place an order by 5 o'clock today, it'll be in our warehouse tomorrow. And they'll even put a confirming bag and everything, so it's real good to use these guys. You can get it, even going direct to our customer you want it. It doesn't have to go next to air. You ship it right to UPS in our territory,
Yeah.
they're gonna get it, you know what I mean? Or if we ship it here, it's always, so it's great to work out.
Appreciate it.
Right away.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, a lot of our distributors, like you guys, use us as a second inventory. If you don't have it on the shelf, you can get it next day.
There's-
Most of it.
There's so many different configurations that you want this, whatever, male, female, and everything.
Yeah.
You just get in the Dixon book, it'll be here tomorrow.
Yeah.
We don't have to stock, we stock some, but yeah, it's good to.
Yeah, that basic 8 that we were talking about on page 7, that's what most distributors stock, those different types. And then, we have other offerings as well, like our jump size. Can you guess what that does? Anyone?
Reducer.
Yeah, reduces.
Yeah, jump size reducer.
Wouldn't that be a
So you-
stop sign?
It's a
Huh?
fly.
Well, it depends how you,
Oh,
yeah, either jumping up or reducing.
yeah.
Yeah, so reducer and spool adapters.
Stop it.
It's almost time, we're about ready to use
Let me, you know what?
Go on.
It really depends on your
Is
perspective.
that a funnel? Is that a funnel or a cone?
That's what's face this one too.
Yeah, pass that around. So a lot of manufacturers who do make cam and groove because it's a commodity. We have.
Now it's not a reducer. Now you're just paying
Yeah, now it's just complicated.
Yes.
Now it's a filter.
Or what looks like one. But so a lot of manufacturers who offer the basic 8 don't offer these different configurations, whether they be different elbows, Ys, jump sizes,
If you'd had them 10 by 8, that
adapters.
would've been alright.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's a little big.
the numbers.
At that size, it's probably like 5 flames or something.
See that number, you write that Dixon number.
But this is nice because you'll see out in the field a lot of people make these crazy different contraptions to try to get from one size to the next. Threading different things together, and every time you're doing that, you're creating an opportunity for a leap path. So this is, a fully casted.
What page are you on?
Sorry, I'm not.
39. What, the jump ones? Yes.
Yeah. So just different configurations, and if you don't find that in there, if you don't find something in there, we can always manufacture it, or at least attempt to. Let us know. Let us know what they're looking for, and kind of go in there. We have the capabilities of doing that, and have done that. Or a new product idea. We're willing to take that off your hands and not give you any money for it, but we'll put that product out, and you guys can sell it.
It's confusing.
No, but seriously, think about that. Like, if you do have a new product idea, we're willing to put that in, So just give us a shout. Everything, the basic 8, everything we're really showing domestic. We also offer global to be competitive. We oversee those manufacturing processes overseas, so we're not actually getting a container sent over here and then seeing if it's right or wrong. We're actually over there seeing it when it comes off, and overseeing that process. So it is a little bit more quality control, if you will.
Is that all the G series?
That's exactly. So that's what constitutes that G global, and we conveniently put that in the back for you guys in this catalog, so it's a little tougher to get to.
So if you guys run into that price-wise, you're way out of line.
If you're way out of line,
Yeah.
they're probably quoting, someone else is probably quoting global. That's always a good indicator.
Do you still stock a lot of global then too down there?
Oh yeah, we sell a ton of those. We sell probably about the same amount, and then dollars are higher for the Andrews or our domestic line. But yeah, I mean, depending upon the application, if you're running water through it, you really,
I remember a while back,
You know?
I put a big quote for SWF and he said I could kill them, that's probably why, that was good, and I didn't realize.
yeah. Now you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a huge
And then,
difference there, isn't it?
then there's some global that are going to be just more like. PT Coupling is another company that we are very competitive with on the global side, but Kuriyama, they're a little lower, so they're a little down and dirty with their pricing. We can't really match that. I mean, we like to say we have better, better fittings, better quality control, but we can't really compete against like a Kuriyama Global. But you're not going to make too much money off of that anyway, so stick with, where the strong suits, if you will.
So Matt, I was daydreaming. What's the difference with the global?
Price wise?
Between the global and your...
Import versus domestic?
Is
And the
what it
domestic?
is?
Well, we really say not.
I said I was...
Yeah.
So fired.
What a guess.
What were you talking about?
I caught it in the middle part.
Yeah.
I think it was that deep.
Kinda like,
Well, other than the fact that they're not
global.
manufactured. Yeah. You know what I'm trying to say here.
Slow down on that. You're going way too fast.
This is why we video these things,
Alright.
Did you
Well,
ever watch one?
the global is not manufactured in the States. Obviously, the domestic is.
Okay.
We like to say ours are very comparable, but sometimes maybe a little thickness on the coupler side. The wall thickness might be a little bit beefier on the domestic, but we've improved our global throughout the years. So now we say the quality's right on par. But someone might just really want domestic, and that's what you want to push that way.
Yeah, they all went cheap.
Yeah, and then the easy ball sock handles too. That's domestic. So, it is a commodity type item, but we have specialized cam arms, and then we have other specialized fittings like the Easy Link. So this would really excel. It's a push to connect fitting. So we were talking about cam arms, right? This is the female side. There's no cam arms on this. It's actually a tab, 2 tabs. So it's a push to connect. It kind of jumps on
you have them in global too?
No, we don't. This is
I think
only
so. I think
domestic.
that was you.
I thought that's the one you were talking about, the DPS.
Yeah, that was the one that neither of them liked, just because they said dirt, Rust-Oleum.
Yeah.
They said they couldn't use them for Rust-Oleum because paint and dirt gets in them, and then
Yeah,
the Easy Locks don't work.
there's good applications. It's a very niche kind of grouping. We thought that would kind of take off. It has its place. Overhead applications, tight applications, something that might be pulsating like a pump. Like if you have those regular
Yeah, I
cam
thought
arms,
it would be
it would
easy
just
sell.
Yeah.
walk off.
Yeah.
You know, this actually stays on there. It doesn't
Right.
pulsate open.
Yeah, because they got to do the Velcro and everything, so I
Yeah.
thought that would be an easy
Rust-Oleum,
solution.
it leaks so much you can't even tell it's a coupling on the end there.
Yeah.
That's what they said. It
So-
gets too junked up, and then they can't even get them open.
Yeah. So train like a good product to sell would be the vent lock. So this is another in a commodity type world with cam and groove. This is something that we offer that would be good for a paint plant or chemical plant.
That's not handles down and just release it. Just push that.
So regular cam and groove, if you open
Tight
that,
spots, that'd be good.
if you open the cam arms up, and there's pressure built up in that line, it's going to blow back and hit the operator. So if you're dealing with chemicals or some kind of caustic or even hot water, you don't want that blowing back if there's any pressure hitting the operator. So this is perfect for something like that. It allows you to vent because of the groove design. I'll show you. It actually allows you to vent that pressure, then you turn and come out like so. So you see the different groove there. So you want it to turn over. So that's the vent lock. That actually really excels. I had a end user. I showed that to probably 2 years ago, up in North Pennsylvania, and they had regular cam and groove. And they were like, "Hey, our guys are good. We make sure the valves are shut." And 2 years later, I get a phone call from a distributor up there saying, "Hey, we need hundreds of these
Keep your hands
because
off
he's
the
selling
messy
that with metal hose."
We're gonna make a phone to me.
Because it actually winded up having pressure built up in the line. He opened it, it hit him, broke his whole jaw and his whole, like, cracked his skull, something crazy. So, don't want that to happen. That's obviously the reactive approach that they're putting that in, so that's why we try to be proactive, show them the safety solution behind it. You want to make sure it's turned over that ridge, yeah. Yeah, you just have to turn it.
And
a
it
little
won't
bit.
lock until you turn the floor turn, right?
Yeah.
It's the ridge.
Yeah, right over that.
Yeah.
See that little notch?
Yeah.
Right now it's not gonna, I don't think
It's
it's
not
gonna
gonna lock,
lock.
you gotta turn 90 degrees.
Yeah, there you go. That will lock now, because it's over it. Yeah, and so there's an inline swivel in the coupler side, so when you get to that the 2-3 inch, it kinda gets,
Okay.
when you have the hose there, you're not gonna be able, oh, quarter turn, it's not
Right.
that easy. So that's why we have the swivel there, so it's a little bit easier. But they're really nice. That, I mean, you still have the full flow.
You just make something.
Unlike something like this, that's a dry disconnect. What kind of, it has valves on both sides internally, so the pressure, you have pressure drop and you reduce the flow, because unlike cam and groove, that would be called full flow. There's nothing obstructing it, and then there's something valved on both sides. So it's nice having that full flow, because you'll get, like, you try to sell a guy on safety, and they'll be like, yeah, well, you're gonna, this messing up the flow, it's costs too much, blah, blah, blah. With the vent lock, you still get that full flow, but you have that protection. And that's something that would be good to bring in there. I have catalogs on that as well. So just all different types, jump sizes, spool adapters, reducing adapters and couplers,
Funnels.
Yep, strainers, all different types of accessories, dust caps, different configurations. Make sure you're using stamped. Do you guys have any questions? Cam and Groove has been around for decades. We actually, if you see on some of the domestic ones, it says Andrews.
Yeah.
So that's the original Cam and Groove design, made by the Krapp family in Dayton, New Jersey. And then so we took that design, or we ended up, owning that design, and that's why you still see Andrews on there. It's a little history, fun name too. So I don't think you can forget that.
I was looking at this one, it's right there, it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So they span every market. no steam, no compressed air, but a lot of everything else, as long as it falls into the right chemical compatibility, the right pressure ratings depending upon the size, and then, you know, make sure the materials line up accordingly. But you guys are dealing with a lot of customers now that are getting this from somebody, so it might as well be you guys. Any questions?
It's, Evertake domestic, you know? I think Evertake's the one I lost that day.
Yeah, they have both.
I
Yeah,
think that's the one I lost.
yeah, they have both. Well, you probably were quoted, they probably quoted global. Yeah,
No, I didn't.
because we're competitive with them. I would say the only domestic, or the only import that we're not competitive would be Kuriyama. They're very low. And that just happens to be what they, you know, excel at. Very low down and dirty chemistry pricing. But, yeah. Any questions, guys? I'm gonna leave a bunch of these for you. These are good to reference. We also have, you know, I'm sure you've seen the sanitary ones. We offer an outside air one, which is really nice to go to like construction. I don't know if you guys are venturing that way at all. Or inside air. That's what we'll talk about next time. Filters, regulators, lubricators. So you can take that in and show them, you know, here's a quick disconnect, pneumatic quick disconnect. Here's filter, regulator, lubricator. And a nice brochure. That's in the Knowledge Center. On our website, and then you go to brochures, literature, and you can either download a PDF, send it to your customer, or some of them you can actually print out or just order. You can order these to you guys. Make sure you're using our freight on us, so you don't have to pay for the shipping on them.
Just remember the Easy Link use that different gasket.
Yeah,
than the
yeah, it's
other-
good to
than
touch
the
on.
grooves.
So, past us, the regular cam and groove gasket's a flat compressible kind. The Easy Link, which is a little bit more, you're not going to see out there as much, but it's a different type of gasket. It's actually a bellows style, so it's kind of a flanged design and tucks in, and it's just because there's a different sealing property to the flat kind, because the flat has the cam arms, and then that just has the tabs to push. So. Yeah. I mean, it could be a good question to ask too, if you're not getting a lot of business from your customers. In Cam, I mean, just ask them about Cam and Groove. Hey, you guys deal with Cam and Groove? They're probably not even thinking of you guys for Cam and Groove, you know? And you offer it, so just ask them. You don't have to. Sometimes, you know, they'll assemble it there, which is good for you guys because you don't really carry hose, right? You're carrying hose yet? No. Yeah. So.
No, you told us that was dangerous, so we don't do that.
Yeah. So you can still sell them the fittings, especially this is something that a lot of places put together themselves. So there you go. It's Cam and Groove. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You kept me engaged most of the time.
Yeah. I mean, it's exciting stuff.
Like half the time, yeah.
You know. Good.
It's not the whole global part.
Define global for us.
You only missed,
Import.
I'm still
Just say
confused.
import.
you only missed two major parts.
Cheap import. Global. Sounds
Still the same
fancy.
quality on our line. Well, thank you. Thank you guys.